In today's lesson, you will learn 3 new vocabulary words: appease, coerce, and amiable. Are you ready? Well then, let's jump right in. Our very first word is appease. Appease. Again, after me for pronunciation practice. Appease. Good. Last time after me. Appease. Excellent. All right, this term appease just refers to pacifying or placating someone by giving in to their demands. Imagine someone is pressing you over and over again. Hey, buy this, do this. And initially you're like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But because they're constantly pushing you, say, you know what? Hey, if it'll make you happy, fine, I'll do it. Again, to pacify or placate someone, you are appeasing them. Once again, to pacify or placate someone by giving in to their demands. Here's the first example sentence. Amendments have been added to appease local pressure groups. Again, amendments have been added to pacify local pressure groups. They're upset, so we added the amendments. One more time. Amendments have been added to appease local pressure groups. Example sentence number 2. He was trying to appease her. Again, he was trying to pacify her, to make her feel good. She wasn't happy initially, but hey, he did something to try to pacify her. Once again, he was trying to appease her. And finally, they tried to appease the teacher's anger. Again, they tried to pacify the teacher's anger. They tried to help her feel better. They tried to appease. Once again, they tried to appease the teacher's anger. So now we understand the term appease. Let's check out this simple sentence structure using the word appease. Here is the simple sentence structure. A tries to appease B by C. Again, A tries to appease B by C. Letter A represents person 1. So person 1 tries to appease, and then letter B is person 2 or a group by letter C, which is the action. So letter A is person 1, letter B is person 2 or a group, and letter C is an action. So let's see how we can use this to create our own example sentences. Let's start again with letter A. All right, again, looking at appease. So for the first one, let's say he. Very simply, all right? So let's start off by writing he for our first example sentence. So letter A, person 1 is he. Then we have letter B being person 2 or a group. So for our first example, we're going to say his brother. All right, so let's write his brother. So far we have for the sentence, he tries to appease his brother by, now we need letter C, the action. So what is the action? Giving him candy. Again, we're writing our first sentence. So we have the action, giving him candy. This is our first example sentence. So now the full sentence using our simple sentence structure is, he tries to appease his brother by giving him candy. Makes sense, right? We're talking about the word appease. So let's try this again with a different example. This time, letter A or person 1 is the teacher. Let's write this down. The teacher. All right, so we have the teacher tries to appease, and now we need person 2 or letter B. Tries to appease the class. This is a group this time. So now we have the class. So far our sentence is, the teacher tries to appease the class by. Now letter C. What is the action? What did the teacher do? Or what is the teacher doing? Letting them play a game. Here we go. Letting them play a game. So we have letter A being person 1, letter B being person 2 or the group, and letter C being the action. Here is our sentence. The teacher tries to appease the class by letting them play a game. You get it, right? Excellent. All right, let's do one more sentence, one more example. So for letter A, let's choose the manager. All right, so we have the manager. All right, the manager tries to appease, now we need the second person or group, tries to appease the workers. All right, the workers. So now our sentence so far is, the manager tries to appease the workers by, now we need letter C. What is the action? By raising their pay. All right, raising their pay, giving them more money. All right, so again, our third sentence is, the manager tries to appease the workers by raising their pay. Makes sense, right? So we have this simple sentence structure for the word appease. Now we're leading into our second example sentence. So our second example sentence now is going to be, our second word is going to be coerce. Again, coerce. Excellent. After me, coerce. Great job. Last time after me. Coerce. Excellent. Now, this word coerce, it just means to persuade an unwilling person to do something by using force or threats. Again, to persuade an unwilling person to do something by using force or threats. Hey, this person really doesn't want to do this, but you're pushing them. You're trying to persuade them. Hey, I'll give you some money. Hey, if you do this, I'll help you tomorrow. You are trying to coerce them. Make sense? Excellent. All right, here's the first example sentence. They were coerced into silence as they watched their loved ones be assaulted by the enemy. Again, they were persuaded, they were forced, or they were convinced to be silent as they watched their loved ones be assaulted. Once again, they were coerced into silence as they watched their loved ones be assaulted by the enemy. Next, he tried to coerce her into going to the party. He tried to persuade her. She wasn't willing, but he tried to persuade her into going to the party. Again, he tried to coerce her into going to the party. And finally, the girl coerced her brother into doing the dishes. The girl persuaded her brother into doing the dishes. Last time, the girl coerced her brother into doing the dishes. So you understand now this term coerce. Now let's look at a very simple sentence structure using this word coerce. Here's the sentence structure. A was coerced into B. Again, A was coerced into B. And we have the letter A representing the person. So we have A being the person. Then we have letter B representing the action. They were convinced or persuaded to do something. So here's the first example. For the person, let's say he. All right, so let's write he for letter A for our first example sentence. He was coerced into, and then we have was coerced into is our fixed phrase. So he was coerced into, and what's the action? Letter B. Our first letter B is telling a lie. Remember, coercing someone into doing something they don't want to do. All right, he didn't want to tell a lie, but he was coerced into telling a lie. Makes sense, right? So we have our first example sentence. He was coerced into telling a lie. What about our second example? For this one, let's choose the student. All right, so for our second sentence, we have the student. So the student was coerced into, what's the action? What is our letter B? Was coerced into doing something wrong. This is the action. Doing something wrong. All right, so again, here's the sentence. The student was coerced into doing something wrong. All right, we have our second sentence. Now let's go to our third example sentence using this simple sentence structure. A was coerced into B. Here's our third example for letter A, she. Very simple, all right? She was coerced into, and what's the action? Staying quiet. She didn't want to stay quiet, but she was coerced into staying quiet. So again, our third example sentence using this simple sentence structure is, she was coerced into staying quiet. So you understand now, we have the word appease and we have the word coerce. Now it's time for us to go into our third vocabulary word. Our third vocabulary word is amiable. Again, amiable. After me, for pronunciation practice, amiable. Excellent. Again, amiable. Excellent. Now, this word amiable just means having or displaying a friendly and pleasant manner. Again, having or displaying a friendly or pleasant manner. People like being around you. You are extremely friendly. Everybody wants to be around you. Now, the question is, how can we use this word in real life? We understand the definition, again, being very friendly. Here's the first example sentence, though. She had an amiable personality, always ready with a kind word and a smile. She had such a pleasant personality, always ready with a kind word and a smile. Once again, she had an amiable personality, always ready with a kind word and a smile. Our second example sentence. He looks like an amiable person. Again, he looks like a friendly person. He looks like a pleasant person. He looks like an amiable person. And finally, she is perfectly amiable. She is perfectly friendly. She is so pleasant. Once again, she is perfectly amiable. You got it, right? So now you understand this term amiable and how to use it in real life. Let's check out a very simple sentence structure using this word amiable. Now, this word amiable, here's the simple sentence structure. A is so amiable that B. Again, A is so amiable that B. Now, A stands for the person. All right, so we have A being the person. Then we have the fixed phrase being is so amiable that, and we have letter B, and letter B is the result. So letter A is the person, letter B is the result. So let's check out some example sentences using this simple sentence structure. So for our first example, we're going to say the person is my teacher. All right, keeping it simple. My teacher. So we have my teacher is so amiable that, now let's get a result. The first result. My teacher is so amiable that we all enjoy the class. Again, the result, we all enjoy the class. My teacher is so friendly, so pleasant that we all enjoy the class. So again, my teacher is so amiable that we all enjoy the class. All right, now let's go to our second example sentence. For the letter A, again, we need to find a person. So for our second example, we have our neighbor. All right, so let's write our neighbor. All right, our neighbor is so amiable that what's the result? She shares fruit with us. All right, letter B is she shares fruit with us. All right, she shares fruit with us. So letter A, our neighbor. Letter B, the result, she shares fruit with us. So our second example sentence using this simple sentence structure is our neighbor is so amiable that she shares fruit with us. Makes sense, right? Now a third example sentence. Again, letter A being the person, we're going to say he. All right, he. He is so amiable that, what's letter B? The result. Everyone invites him to parties. All right, so we have everyone invites him to parties. All right, invites him to parties. He's so pleasant. He's so kind. The result, everyone invites him to parties. Here's the sentence. He is so amiable that everyone invites him to parties. Makes sense, right? So again, we have three words: appease, coerce, and amiable. Now again, remember, if you want to continue studying with me and get new vocabulary words every single day, all you have to do is go to www.dailyenglishvocabulary.com, and I'll talk to you in the next lesson.